Nauru. The tiny country most people have never heard of. Have you ever heard of a country so tiny that you could almost miss it on a world map? A country with no capital city officially designated, no major rivers, and a population smaller than many neighborhoods around the world? Welcome to Nauru one of the smallest and least known countries on Earth. Hidden in the central Pacific Ocean, Nauru is a tiny island nation surrounded by thousands of kilometers of open water. It may be one of the smallest countries in the world, but its story is surprisingly big. From beautiful beaches and unique landscapes to traditional food, island culture, festivals, and a fascinating history, Nauru has many stories that most people have never heard. Nauru is located northeast of Australia and is part of the Pacific region known as Micronesia. Unlike many island countries made up of dozens or hundreds of islands, Nauru is just one small raised coral island. Its total land area is only around 21 square kilometers. Because of its tiny size, you might imagine Nauru as simply a small tropical island with beaches and palm trees. And yes, Nauru does have beautiful coastal scenery, but its landscape is much more unusual than you might expect. The island has a narrow coastal area where most people live. In the center is a raised area known as topside where the landscape was dramatically changed by many years of phosphate mining. Today, parts of this area contain strange limestone formations, deep pinnacles, and rugged terrain. One of the most interesting places to explore is Buada Lagoon. Located inland, this freshwater lagoon is surrounded by tropical vegetation and is one of the island's best-known natural landmarks. Unlike the open Pacific Ocean surrounding Nauru, Buada Lagoon provides a peaceful inland environment and gives visitors a different view of the island. Another important area is Anibare Bay known for its beautiful coastline and wide sandy beach. The turquoise Pacific water and rocky formations make this one of the most scenic coastal areas of Nauru. The coastline also contains an unusual geological feature called Anibare Harbor which was developed as part of efforts to provide better access to the sea. The surrounding area offers a glimpse into the island's relationship with fishing, boats, and the ocean. For visitors interested in history, Command Ridge is another notable place. It is the highest point on Nauru and has historical significance because of events that took place during the Second World War. Old wartime remains can still be found around parts of the island. But Nauru's story becomes even more interesting when we talk about its people. Nauruan culture has strong Polynesian and Micronesian influences. Family, community, music, dancing, and traditional celebrations are important parts of life. Like many Pacific Island societies, Nauru has a deep connection with the ocean and the natural environment. Traditional dancing is an important cultural expression. During celebrations and special events, people can gather together for music and traditional performances. These activities help preserve cultural traditions and pass them from one generation to the next. Nauru also celebrates its national identity through important public events. One of the most significant is Angam Day celebrated every year on October 26. The word, Angam, is associated with fulfillment or homecoming, and the celebration commemorates the achievement of a major population milestone in Nauru's history. Angam Day is more than just a national holiday. It represents survival, community, and the continuation of the Nauruan people. Cultural performances, traditional activities, food, and community gatherings are part of the celebrations. Now let's talk about something everyone wants to know when discovering a new country: the food. Nauruan cuisine is strongly influenced by the island's Pacific location. Fish and seafood have traditionally been important foods because the surrounding ocean provides a natural source of food. Coconut is another important ingredient in Pacific Island cooking. It can be used in different dishes and drinks, while fruits such as bananas and other tropical foods are also part of the local diet. Modern Nauruan food has also been influenced by neighboring countries and international communities. Australian, Asian, and other Pacific influences can be seen in the food available on the island today. But perhaps the most fascinating part of Nauru is its history. For generations, Nauru was home to island communities with their own traditions and social structures. European explorers began arriving in the Pacific during the 18th century, bringing Nauru into contact with the outside world. Later, the discovery of phosphate deposits completely changed the island's future. Phosphate became Nauru's most important natural resource. For much of the 20th century, large-scale mining transformed the island and generated enormous wealth for the country. At one point, Nauru was considered one of the wealthiest countries in the world on a per-person basis. But this wealth came with a huge environmental cost. Large parts of the island's interior were heavily mined, leaving behind a landscape filled with limestone pinnacles and damaged land. As phosphate resources declined, Nauru faced the difficult challenge of building an economy after its most important resource was largely exhausted. This is one of the most remarkable lessons from Nauru's history. A tiny country can become incredibly wealthy from one natural resource, but depending heavily on that resource can also create serious long-term problems. Nauru became an independent country in **1968. Today, it remains one of the world's smallest independent nations. Its population is only around 10,000 people, making it smaller than the population of many individual towns and neighborhoods around the world. Despite its tiny population, Nauru has its own government, flag, currency, culture, national identity, and international presence. There is another interesting fact about Nauru. It is one of the few countries in the world without an officially designated capital city. Government offices are mainly located in the *Yaren district *, which is commonly described as the country's de facto capital area. Nauru's location also makes it one of the most isolated countries in the world. Getting there is not as simple as traveling to a major tourist destination. There are limited transportation connections, and tourism infrastructure is relatively small. That isolation is actually part of what makes Nauru so fascinating. When people imagine a Pacific island, they often think about famous destinations filled with luxury resorts, tourists, and crowded beaches. Nauru is very different. It is quieter, smaller, and much less visited. There are no huge tourist crowds surrounding its beaches. Instead, visitors can experience a country where everyday life and local community remain much more visible. The ocean is everywhere in Nauru, and fishing remains connected to the island's traditions and lifestyle. The surrounding Pacific also provides opportunities for swimming, fishing, boating, and exploring marine environments. However, Nauru also faces challenges shared by many small Pacific Island nations. Its low-lying coastal areas are vulnerable to coastal erosion, storms, and changes in sea levels. Climate change can affect freshwater supplies, food security, infrastructure, and coastal communities. For a country with such limited land, environmental changes can have an especially large impact. Yet Nauru continues to move forward. Its people have preserved their national identity despite dramatic changes in their economy and environment. Traditional culture continues to be celebrated, while modern Nauru remains connected to the wider Pacific and the rest of the world. So, what makes Nauru truly special? It isn't only its size. It is the fact that this tiny island has experienced an extraordinary journey, from a traditional Pacific society, to a major phosphate-producing nation, to an independent modern country facing the challenges of a changing world. From Buada Lagoon and Anibare Bay to the historic Command Ridge Nauru offers landscapes and stories that are very different from the typical tourist destinations. Its traditional food reflects its connection to the Pacific Ocean. Its festivals celebrate community and national identity. Its culture keeps old traditions alive. And its history provides one of the world's most fascinating examples of how natural resources can completely transform a country. Nauru may be tiny on the map, but its story is enormous. It is a country that many people have never heard of, yet once you discover its history, landscapes, culture, and people, you realize that even the smallest countries can have some of the biggest stories. So, if someone asks you to name a country that almost nobody talks about, remember Nauru a tiny Pacific nation with a huge history. If you enjoyed this journey into one of the world's least known countries, like this video, subscribe to Factnova, and turn on notifications for more amazing country documentaries from around the world.